Hey Divi Nation, thanks for stopping by our documentation to learn all about our full width map module. So there are going to be times when you want to add a map to your website that covers the full width of the page display. This is the perfect module for that use case. We'll show you how to use it and how to style it in this video. Check it out.
In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Divi's Full Width Maps module. Now this Full Width Maps module makes it really easy to embed custom Google Maps anywhere on your page in a nice full width display. You can even add unlimited pins to the map and define your custom viewport starting location. The Maps modules also come in normal width format, so be sure to check out that module as well. So as you can see here, I do have a full width Maps module installed here on my contact page. And it's a good place to have it to display my company's location, maybe add a pin here to show exactly where our company is in the world, along with additional information that can pop up like the address or anything, or phone numbers or stuff like that. If you click on the pin, you can have more information. You can also add more than one of these pins here. If you have more than one location, for example, across the world, you can add those in as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the settings here. And to do that, we're actually going to delete this module, and we're going to start from scratch so you can see how to set it up and optimize it for your site. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this section here, and I'm going to save it out, and I'm going to refresh the page. And I am going to be editing in the Visual Builder here. So make sure the Visual Builder is deployed. And then what I'm going to do is come down here to the bottom of my page. I'm going to add a new section. And since I'm adding a full width maps module, I'm going to need a full width section to pull up those full width modules there. Then I'll find the full width map, add it to my site. You'll see the full width map settings box pop up. And here I can start adding in my content, and then after that we're going to go through the design of it as well. So under the content tab, I have this little plus icon here. This is where I can add my individual pins to my map to specify a certain location for my company, for example. I'm going to skip that step for now, and we're going to continue setting up the general settings here. If I click on the map section, you'll see that I need an API key. And so in order to get that API key, you're actually going to enter it in the themes options page. So if I go to my theme options, I can go from my WordPress dashboard, find under Divi here, select theme options, and then scroll down here. You can see this Google API key section. This step is necessary for you to display any of those Google Maps on your site. So we need that Google API key. And there's a helpful reminder here that tells you that you need it as well. In order to get that, you'll need to go to the developers console. And it looks like this here when you go to your developers console in Google here. And you can create a new project. Once you create your new project, you can add an API key, and once you get that API key, you can go back here and paste it in, and then click save. Now I'm going to save this out, and I'm going to refresh the page. All right, and let's go back to our Maps module settings under the map section here, and now I have my Google API key added. Now I can start adding in my address. Right now it's blank because we need to tell Google where our location is, and I'm simply going to paste in a general location of San Francisco, and I will click find here, and there you go. We already have our San Francisco location. Aside from that, let's go on to our design tab. This is where you can add some more customizations to your maps module. For example, you have this control section. Now, this is some kind of helpful options in order to interact with the map a little better. For example, you can choose to have this mouse wheel zoom if you have a mouse wheel on your mouse and you want to use that to actually zoom in on the map. You can choose that to be on. It is on by default, but if you don't like that idea, sometimes it gets a little bit of distracting when you're scrolling down the page and then you get to the map and you keep scrolling with that mouse wheel, and then instead of scrolling down the page, you actually start zooming in, and so it could mess up your user experience there. So you might want to disable that, but since it's at the bottom of the page, we don't have to worry about it. You can also disable or enable this draggable option on mobile, meaning that right here I can hold down my button on my mouse and I can drag the map around. I can also do that on mobile with my finger. If I wanted to keep that functionality, I will simply leave it alone, but I could disable it here. You can use a grayscale filter. Let's say you don't like the default colors of the Google map here and you just want to make it all kind of gray. You can do that, and this is the grayscale filter amount in the percentage value. You can choose what percentage you want it grayed out. So let's say I wanted it 50% grayed, I could do that. Or if I wanted it all gray, I could do that as well. All right, the sizing, I can choose to adjust the width of the module here, and it'll automatically adjust to the center of the map when I do that. And then if I wanted to, I can make it centered there by adjusting the module alignment. But I like it full width, so I'm going to keep it like that. I can add some spacing margins to my module. Since it is a full width module, I don't want to mess with that. But if I was using the regular maps module, maybe I would want to add more margins and customizations to place it just the right place on my page. Box shadow also doesn't really apply to this since we're not using since we are using a full width layout. However, you can add some slight depth to the top and bottom of the module with this setting. So if you wanted to add a box shadow, you can see there's a little depth there, which is a nice look. You can also choose an animation style for your module as it pops up on the page when you scroll down to it. You can slide it in or fade it in, however you like. I'm going to disable that for now. All right, so in the advanced tabs, you also have the ability to add your unique CSS IDs and classes to target this module with an external style sheet. You can also add your inline custom CSS to the main element here, or the before and after pseudo elements there. And also change the visibility if you want. Maybe you don't want this on mobile. You can choose to disable it on your phones only. You can do that for any of these devices. All right, so that takes care of our general settings. And now let's go ahead and add our first pin. So under the content tab, let's go ahead and add our first pin, and then it pops up this pin settings. And let's go ahead and toggle open this text section here. Let's go ahead and add our first pin. We'll call it company. And then we'll, just some mock content here. Call this company info. It could be maybe an address or something. Phone number. And then down here, a location for your map pin. I'm going to use San Francisco, California again. And then I'll click find, and then it'll place a pin there. Of course, you would probably want to add a more specific address to whatever your company is. I'll go ahead and save that out. You can see that it is displayed nicely right there. I could also add another pin if I wanted to, and it's unlimited. I can add an unlimited amount. I'm going to go ahead and save this out, and I'm going to save my page here, and let's go ahead and open it up outside of the Visual Builder. And there it is. If I click on my tab here, you'll see that a little info box pops up with the content, the title that I added here, which could be my company or whatever it is I want, and any info that I want underneath there. And to exit out of that, click on the box. And of course, I can move it around and use the command button plus the scroll to zoom in. One thing I do want to mention before I go is maybe you don't like the default zoom in location that the map has right now, and maybe you want to change it to something different so when the page loads it actually maybe has a more expanded view when you first view the map. You can change that by going back to our maps module, going into the maps settings, and when you click in the maps section, you'll see this little embed here. You can use the embed to kind of customize the zoom location of the map, and then that will once you save it out here, you can see that the starting location of your map is now different. So feel free to customize that however you need, and it creates a nice look for your site. And there's your overview of the Fullwidth Maps module.